What happened in August of 2021 was something that no one was prepared. No one predicted the magnitude of the impact that collapse had on people, both in Afghanistan and outside of Afghanistan.
After the collapse of Afghanistan, why do we continue to use aid as a foreign policy tool, but this time under the umbrella of humanitarian aid? And I think these are questions that the American public needs to hold their policymakers and their politicians accountable. And also that to make sure that the future generation of policymakers here in the US are equipped with the tools to deal with the new realities of an emerging world that I think is catching up with the US.
The US foreign policy has been influenced and shaped by the events in the region, geopolitics. It has also been affected and shaped by the influence of global politics and our domestic politics.
I think it's really important when we think about applying pressure to policymakers to understand exactly where the fault lines are. Because policymaking above all else is a question of political will. And any external engagement, be it in Afghanistan, Ukraine, China, name it, that's really fundamentally decided on what the United States sees its role in the world and what value systems it has in its place. It's important to go to Congress, it's important to engage policymakers, but I'm sure, as Jason can allude, there's been a tremendous amount of great grassroots civil society-oriented action, which I think we all have a responsibility to help those that want to make those changes, to identify who they can partner with, and that's something we used to do quite a lot when I was at the Friends of the AUF, and it's pretty remarkable, the amount of great work that could be done just through that local engagement.
There have been an unprecedented scale and breadth of resources invested in supporting Afghans in particular. So there were, large supplemental funds provided by Congress that we have been pushing out around the country to support Afghans. I should also say there's been unprecedented support from non-federal entities. I think it was quite inspiring to see kind of a whole-of-nation response to the evacuation of Afghanistan, and all sorts of people and organizations from public, private, philanthropic sectors, and just regular old, citizens, people who live here, got involved in various ways.
I always tell my students, don't go and be absorbed in the system. I'm teaching you here, I'm reflecting on these things with you as part of my lived experience, because I need you to walk into those systems and change them.
Lived experience is really more integrated than ever in resettlement when it comes to the Afghans, and that's largely because there's been such a wonderful collection of diaspora members and local community-based organizations, ethnic community-based organizations who've been involved. And we do have some authorities and some funds in ORR to help those agencies take on an even greater role than just what they're doing out of their own kind hearts and volunteerism. So there are some funds flowing to those organizations to really support Afghans in a way that is particularly culturally appropriate and well-lit.
Take it as your own responsibility to Egyptian people. And in a way, you're the ambassador of your culture, of your rich background. Be open to sharing the beauty of your country with others.